The Utah Cats, Utah Rattlers, Utah Warriors, the Blaze, the Saints, the Knights, the Screaming Eagles, the Pioneers, Argonauts. You might be asking me, what are these random names that you're naming? Well, these were all failed professional football teams or indoor football leagues or spring leagues that play in Utah. Well, Utah now has a new football team. It's the Salt Lake Stallions. And I think they might be staying around a lot longer than the rest of the teams I just named off. Hi, I'm Mike Floyd with the Turtle Show, and today I'm talking about the Salt Lake Stallions, the new charter team for the AAF, or Alliance American Football. As stated by the name, the Salt Lake Stallions will be based out of Salt Lake City in Utah, and they are the charter members of the Alliance American Football. The Stallions are officially the furthest north team of the AAF if you're kind of a geography buff. They'll be playing their games at the Rice Echo Stadium, and their colors are blue, deep sky blue, and silver. The name Stallions is inspired by the land speed records set at the Bonneville Salt Flats, while the colors represent Utah's geography, like the Great Salt Lakes and the Wasatch Range. It's pretty cool. It's like the colors kind of look like my shirt. It's like a really bright blue. Actually, it might be, I think just the wings on the actual horse kind of look like that color, but in person, like the uniforms look pretty dope. Just like the rest of the teams, the Salt Lake Stallions they use the player allocation process in order to get their players. They have certain colleges, NFL teams, and a Canadian football team that fall under their umbrella. The colleges that fall under the umbrella for the Salt Lake Stallions is the Air Force, which is pretty dope, Arkansas, Boise State, BYU, California, Colorado State, Dixie State, Idaho State, Northern Colorado, Oklahoma State, Oregon, Southern Utah, Utah State, Weber State, and Wyoming. The national football teams that fall under the umbrella for them are the Denver Broncos, the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Seattle Seahawks. The CFL team that falls under the umbrella is the Calgary Stampeders. The leadership for the Salt Lake Stallions are two former Seahawks bigwigs, Dennis Erickson as the head coach and Randy Mueller as the GM. Dennis Erickson was the head coach at the University of Idaho, University of Wyoming, Washington State University, University of Miami, Oregon State University, and Arizona State University. During his tenure at Miami, he won 2 national championships in '89 and '91. His record as a college football coach is 179, 96, and 1. He was also the head coach of 2 teams in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks in '95-'98, and the San Francisco 49ers in '03-'04. And tallied a mark of 40 and 56. The GM, Randy Mueller, served as general manager for the Miami Dolphins, New Orleans Saints. He also has over 2 decades of NFL front office experience with the Seattle Seahawks as a personnel assistant, as the vice president of football operations with the Seahawks again, general manager for the Saints, general manager for the Dolphins, and senior executive football operations for the Los Angeles Chargers. So like with the rest of the teams, I like to bring up a couple of notable players that I kind of like just off the cuff, just recognize their names as soon as somebody said them. And the 3 that stuck out to me was BJ Daniels, Josh Woodrum, and Matt Asiata. BJ Daniels, or Bruce Edward Daniels Jr., was originally drafted by the San Francisco 49ers in the 7th round of 2013 NFL draft. After playing college at South Florida, he also moved on to the Seattle Seahawks and then moved on to as a wide receiver in 2015. And he won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks with their win over the Denver Broncos. So originally, Daniels was assigned to Orlando Apollos of the Alliance of American Football, but during the protector pick draft on November 27th, he was drafted by the Salt Lake Stallions in the 2nd round of the 2019 draft. Josh Woodrum, on the other hand, didn't really play in the NFL. He was signed as an undrafted free agent by the New York Giants back in 2016. He signed short-term contracts with the Colts, Bears, Bills, was on my Ravens for a little while, went to the Browns, went back to the Ravens, but then he got picked up as the 8th overall pick in the AAF quarterback draft back in 2018. So be a little quarterback competition out there. I think Woodrum has something to prove, you know. But the player that I really want to talk about, and if you notice a theme in a lot of my videos, I have a thing for running backs, is Matt Asiata. Matt Asiata was the man who stepped in and took over the team when Adrian Peterson was going through all his legal trouble down in Texas. Asiata had signed with the Minnesota Vikings as an undrafted free agent back in 2011 after the lockout ended and spent all training camp and preseason with the team. He was released by the team but signed to the practice squad. Then I think he tried out for like they call it the Omaha Nighthawks for a while and just played out there while he was waiting for a chance to come up. During the second set with the team, Matt Asiata stepped in for the injured running backs Adrian Peterson and Tory Gerhardt and ended up scoring 3 touchdowns. His 3 touchdowns tied the record for the most rushing touchdowns by a Viking in a single game and made him the first NFL player since Vikings quarterback Dante Culpepper to rush for 3 touchdowns in his first career start, which is pretty awesome. Then the following week, he ran for a career high 115 rushing yards and 14 carries in the season finale against the 78 Detroit Lions. After playing 11 games and starting the game, finished the year with 44 carries, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, and also hauling in 5 passes for 13 yards and returning 2 kickoffs for 28 yards. He had a pretty productive season. he had a pretty productive fantasy season for me as well, because I managed to pick him up pretty quickly off the waiver wire. Then when Adrian Peterson got suspended in the 2014 season, following week 1, Isaiah filled in for him again, playing 11 games, starting 9 of those. If I'm not mistaken, he didn't really have as productive as a year. It kind of trickled off a little bit. Like the magic really wasn't there anymore. But then after a while, Adrian Peterson did come back, took his starting job again. He did re-sign with the Vikings back in 2016. Did earn the start play when Adrian Peterson went down with a torn meniscus, but he ended up being released. And then he went to the Detroit Lions, got released by them, and now he's with the Salt Lake Stallions. So he's also another player, just like I was talking about Bishop Sankey, you know, Trent Richardson, these big time running backs who can ball out, that just need to work on their game, just refine their game. And I really do think they'll be a beast back when they're in the NFL. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and stay tuned for the rest of the team videos.